Hey explorers! Today's story is about one of the most incredible places we've ever visited. Can you guess the place, which is a confluence of three water bodies? No, it's not Prayagraj. It's Kanyakumari. Kanyakumari isn't just the meeting point of the Bay of Bengal, the Arabian Sea, and the Indian Ocean, which is a spectacle in itself. It's also a deeply spiritual place and home to two significant Shakti Peethas. Now you'll ask what a Shakti Peetha is. Let's begin the story. A children's guide to the 51 Shakti Peeths by Amar Granth and written by Yashika Dubey. Do you know what are Shakti Peethas? And that there are 51 of them? In fact, some of them are outside Bharat. So let's find out. The summer vacations had begun and little Vihan was very excited, as if it was the time of the year when his grandfather would narrate interesting stories to him. Dadu, Vihan asked with curiosity sparkling in his eyes. I've seen pictures of Lord Shiva with Goddess Parvati, and you've told me about the 12 Jyotirlingas, which are special temples of Lord Shiva. But Dadu, are there special temples just for Goddess Parvati as well? Vihan's question was thoughtful, and the grandfather smiled warmly. That's a great question, Vihan, grandfather began. Do you know Goddess Parvati and Goddess Sati are both incarnations of Shakti? Continued grandfather. While most of the Hindu temples mainly focus on different gods, Goddess Parvati is often shown beside Lord Shiva, just like you've noticed. However, there are temples dedicated to Goddess Parvati or Sati. They are called the Shakti Peethas, added grandfather. One very special Shakti Peeth is the Kamakhya temple. In the beautiful state of Assam, it's devoted to Mother Goddess Kamakhya, who is thought to be a form of Goddess Parvati and Sati. People from all around India come to visit this sacred place. You can imagine Shakti Peethas as temples, which are like special homes of the powerful Goddess Shakti. The Shakti Peeth temples are spread across India and some even in our neighboring countries, much like a secret treasure map. Shakti means power, and in the stories of Hinduism, it represents feminine power, said Dadu. But Dadu, how were these Shakti Peeths formed? Asked Vihan. Okay, let me tell you the story of their creation, sighed grandfather. It is said that a long time ago, the great king Daksha, son of Lord Brahma, performed a severe penance that lasted 1,000 years. He prayed to Adi Parashakti or Mahadevi, the supreme goddess in Hinduism, for her to be born as his daughter. The divine goddess agreed to be born as an avatar on the condition that he will always treat her well. Soon, Daksha was blessed with a beautiful daughter, Sati, who was an avatar of the supreme goddess, also known as Goddess Parvati. Sati was devoted to Lord Shiva from her childhood. However, Daksha was not pleased with Lord Shiva, her destined partner, because Shiva was a free spirit who lived in the mountains. When it was time for Sati's Swayamvar, a ceremony where she could choose her husband, Daksha did not invite Shiva, but Sati had her heart set only on Shiva. Seeing that Shiva was not there, she placed the garland on the ground and chanted Om Namah Shivaya. Seeing this, Lord Brahma convinced Daksha to let Sati marry Shiva, and he reluctantly agreed to the marriage. Sati then left with Shiva, and Daksha's Divya Gyan, divine wisdom, left with her. Later, Daksha held a grand yagya, a ritual worship of offerings, and invited all the gods and goddesses, but left out Shiva and Sati. When Narad Muni informed Sati about this, she was deeply hurt. She tried to persuade Shiva to accompany her to the yajna, but Shiva did not agree. Despite Shiva's refusal, Sati decided to attend the yajna by herself and set out to go to Daksha's palace. However, when Sati reached the Daksha's yajna, she wasn't welcomed and was disrespected. As Daksha started insulting Shiva and Sati, the other gods did nothing to stop him from humiliating Sati. Sati was extremely hurt and transformed into the fierce goddess Kali on the mandap of the yajna, where Daksha insulted Shiva further, saying that Sati wasn't like this before marriage and it was the bad influence of Shiva that had made her like this. Deeply pained and upset, Sati created a shadow of herself and disappeared. The shadow then set itself on fire. Narad Muni told Shiva about this tragic event. Furious, Shiva instructed his commander Veerbhadra to destroy Daksha and all those who insulted him and indirectly led Sati to this tragic end. Then Shiva picked up the body of Sati's shadow and roamed the world in a mad frenzy, sometimes with her on his shoulder, sometimes on his arms. His Tandav, the powerful cosmic dance, threatened to destroy the world, which is known as Pralay. All the deities prayed to Lord Vishnu to stop Shiva from destroying the universe. Lord Vishnu stepped in and cut Sati's body into pieces with his Sudarshan Chakra, eventually leading Shiva to calm down. The places on the earth where the pieces of Sati's body fell became holy shrines known as Shakti Peethas. Oh, Vihan exclaimed with excitement. Grandpa, could you please tell me how many Shakti Peethas are there? The Mahabhagavad Puran, also known as the Devi Puran, is one of India's 18 highly respected ancient sacred texts. According to the Devi Puran, there are 51 Shakti Peethas, although various other ancient texts mention different numbers, the grandfather explained. Dadu, please tell me more about the temples, said Vihan exquisitively. Okay, today I will tell you about the 51 Shakti Peethas mentioned in the Devi Puran or Mahabhagavata, Dadu replied. Additionally, there are 29 Upashakti Peethas, added the grandfather. These are the places where Sati's jewelry and accessories fell, the grandfather explained. Every Shakti Peeth has a temple dedicated to Shakti, who is known by different names like Durga, Kali, and Mahabhagavati, showcasing her many forms. Lord Shiva is said to guard each of these Shakti Peethas in the form of Kal Bhairav. Most of the Shakti Peethas are in India, but some are in the neighboring countries of India, 4 in Bangladesh, 2 in Nepal, and 1 each in Tibet, Sri Lanka, and Pakistan. The Ashtadasa Shakti Peeth Stotram by Adi Shankara mentions 18 Shakti Peethas, which are considered as major centers of divine grace, termed as Mahashakti Peethas. In today's story time, I am going to share about 2 Shakti Peethas where even I have been, and they are based in the state of Tamil Nadu.
What a contrast! Our last story was about the northernmost part of India, Kashmir, and today we are doing a story of the southernmost tip of Bharat in KanyaKumari.
I remember feeling the energy as soon as we got there. It was so peaceful, but also kind of powerful, Like you could feel something special in the air, and Mom told me all about the Shakti Peethas. The first one is Maa Narayani Temple, where it is said that the upper teeth of Sati fell. It is located in Suchi, Kanyakumari. The deity is also popularly known as KanyaKumari or Bhagwati Amman. The Narayani temple is a marvelous example of art and architecture. The Bhairav, known as Samhara Bhairav or Shankur, is present in a nearby village. Bhairav is locally known as Thanu Shiva, meaning immovable Shiva. This is one place where there is a temple dedicated to Sri Sthanu Malayan as the Trinity. Sthanu means Shiva, Mal represents Vishnu, while Ayan stands for Brahma, denoting Shiva, Vishnu and Brahma in one form. When I went to the temple, the first thing I noticed was the 7-storied white Gopuram, a tower at the entrance visible from a distance. With intricate carvings and sculptures depicting various Hindu deities and mythological scenes. The sculptures were so intricate that it looked as if they were made by aliens. In fact, I put a straw in the ear of one of the sculptures and it passed right through. Can you imagine the details and how they would have made the hole inside from one ear to another? It was like connected. Another marvel to look and hear were the musical pillars in the Alankara Mandapam. If you tap the pillar, different sounds can be heard through them. But due to concerns about potential damages over time, access is now often restricted and demonstrations are sometimes given by temple authorities. So please be mindful when you visit such temples, and also don't litter around and help them stay clean. There are other different mandapams in this temple, like the Navagraha Mandapam, which is dedicated to the 9 planets. Doesn't that mean that our ancestors knew about the 9 planets and the solar system from a long time ago?
Of course, and the significance of this place is not only because of its architectural and artistic marvel, but also because of the ancient stories behind it. One legend has it that Indra, the king of gods, who is also known for his power and sometimes his arrogance, one day disrespected sage Gautama, a highly revered and powerful sage. Enraged by his transgression, sage Gautama cursed him. The curse was severe and often involved the loss of Indra's divine radiance and power. Because of this, the disfigurement caused him immense shame and suffering. Devastated and seeking redemption, Indra wandered through various realms, searching for a way to be free from the curse. He eventually reaches a dense forest in the southern part of India. This forest was known as Aranya, the forest of knowledge or forest of wisdom, a place known for its spiritual vibrations and the presence of sages and ascetics. In Aranya, Indra recognized the sanctity of the place and, guided by divine intuition or the advice of other sages, began to perform intense penance or tapasya to Lord Shiva. He devoted himself to rigorous prayers, meditation, and austerities, seeking forgiveness for his actions. He worshipped the lingam that was present in the sacred grove with unwavering faith and sincerity. Pleased with his repentance and long penance, Shiva appeared before him and absolved him of his curse. In commemoration of this significant event, the place where Indra attained purity or Suchi came to be known as Suchindram. The name itself signifies the power of the deity and the sacredness of the location in cleansing sins and bestowing purity upon devotees. Another story of devotion of this place is about Rishi Atri and his wife Anasuya. According to the Sthala Purana, it is known that Devi Anasuya and Rishi Atri built a hermitage and lived in this exact place of Suchindram. Rishi Atri is considered one of the Saptarishis, but even his wife Anasuya was renowned for her unparalleled chastity or pativrata, which means devotion to her husband and purity of heart. Her virtuous nature and spiritual power were so profound that they became a subject of discussion even in the celestial realms. So much so that the consorts of the Trimurtis, Devi Saraswati, Devi Lakshmi, and Devi Parvati became curious and perhaps a little envious of Anasuya's extraordinary virtues. So they decided to test her devotion and chastity. At the behest of their wives, the three Murtis themselves descended to earth disguised as old mendicants or sannyasis. They arrived at Rishi Atri's hermitage when he was away. They requested Anasuya to serve them food, but there was a very peculiar condition. She had to serve them without any clothes, that is, naked. Faced with this seemingly impossible and morally challenging request, Anasuya was momentarily perplexed. However, her unwavering faith in her husband and her own purity gave her strength and wisdom. She meditated on her husband and invoked her divine power. Through her yogic strength and the power of her chastity, she transformed the three mendicants into infants, babies. What a sight! Anasuya then lovingly breastfed the three infant forms of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. When Rishi Atri returned, he witnessed this extraordinary sight, and through his divine vision, he recognized the true identity of the infants. While the consort of the Trimurtis became worried when their husbands did not return, through their divine vision, they learned what had transpired. Filled with remorse, they rushed to Anasuya and pleaded her to return her husbands. Pleased with their sincerity, Anasuya agreed to restore the Trimurtis to their original forms. However, the three Murtis were so touched by Anasuya's devotion and the love she had shown to them in their infant forms that they decided to merge into a single entity with 3 hands and 6 arms, representing the combined power of Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. This unified form is known as Dattatreya, who is revered as an embodiment of the Trinity and a symbol of divine unity. His name was derived from Sanskrit. Datta means given, and Atre means the son of Atri. He is often depicted with 3 hands, representing the Trinity, 6 hands holding symbols like a mala, kamandalu, shankha, chakra, and trident, and accompanied by 4 dogs, symbolizing the 4 Vedas, and a cow, representing creation. Dattatreya is celebrated as a universal teacher, the Guru of Gurus, known for his ascetic lifestyle, detachment, and profound wisdom. According to the Bhagavad Purana, he learned from 24 gurus, including elements of nature. I hope we can talk about him more later because his story is another one to be discussed, to be talked about, because it is not a small one at all.
The second place is Kanyaka Ashram or Bhagwati Kumari Amman Temple. It is said that the back of Devi fell here, and this place is located at the very tip of India, where the 3 water bodies, Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea, and the Indian Ocean meet. The Shakti Peethas is also called Kanyaka Chakra and Kalikashram Shakti Peethas. The Bhairav of this temple is Nimish. KanyaKumari temple is situated at the tip of the Indian subcontinent, at the confluence of the Indian Ocean, Bay of Bengal, and Arabian Sea. Legend says that the KanyaKumari Devi slayed the evil demon Banasura, who had received a boon from Lord Brahma that he could be killed only by an adolescent girl, Kumari. It is said that Devi Parikshati meditated on a rock called Sri Padadapari, which is now called as the Vivekananda rock. There is a shrine on this rock devoted to Devi's feet. Her statue inside the temple is so beautiful and serene. I remember the intricate details of her jewelry and the peaceful look on her face.
Absolutely. Kanya signifies her purity and unwavering resolve. The story of why she is here is truly inspiring. We talked about Banasura, the demon who could only be defeated by a young, unmarried goddess.
He sounded really scary, but Devi Kanya Kumari was so brave.
Yes, she was definitely very brave. In fact, as an adolescent girl, Parashakti fell in love with Lord Shiva, who is now worshipped in Suchindram, a town 15 kilometers from India's southern tip. The divine sage Narada realized that the marriage of Lord Shiva with KanyaKumari would destroy the chance of the goddess destroying Banasura, because she would be a married woman and she would not be able to kill him. In order to prevent this potential disaster, Narada decided and succeeded in sabotaging the holy couple's wedding. Then she went to the seashore and underwent a penance. The demon Bana came to know about this incident and he came there. Seeing the beauty of goddess, Bana fell for her and requested her to marry him. She ignored the request and went on with her meditation. Angered, Bana caught hold of her and pulled her towards him. First, she was totally in a desperate mood with the happenings, and when Bana tried to pull her, she became ferocious. She started fighting with Bana and at the end killed him. At that time, all gods and saints appeared there, praised her action, and pacified her. Then she decided to stay there itself in the form of KanyaKumari.
Yeah, it was a little sad, but it shows how strong Devi was. Even though her wedding didn't happen, she didn't become weak. She stayed right there, focused and powerful. Mom told me that teaches us that even when our plans changed, we can still be strong. When we went to the temple, the first thing we did was select flowers for the puja worship. And I took care to choose the most brightest and most beautiful ones. Mama helped me light the diyas, and that was also very special. It felt like we were offering little bit of light and our prayers to Devi. And also, the best thing was I loved the yummy prasad. It was an experience that I'll always remember. Feeling the ocean breeze, seeing the incredible statues like Vivekananda Rock Memorial and Thiruvalluvar, and the temple, of course. Thanks for joining us on our adventure. If you enjoyed learning about KanyaKumari and Shakti Peethas, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more explorations.